Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is your Lord of, I was going to say penetration again, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Well, you said it anyway, didn't you?
I did. I snuck it in there. How do you like that?
How do you like them apples? Hi, Scribe.
Joining us as well as your Lord of Pennies. Say hi, Satsu.
What it do?
And I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. How is everyone tonight?
I'm good. Well rested, which is very rare for me.
You sleep all day?
I'm a little sleepy.
That's a good segue into my little butt story for the night. She was over today, and after my appointment, got home, I passed right out. But Grandma mentioned to Little Butt us all going out to dinner, so I wake up to Little Butt wanting me to go out with her, and I was in no shape to do so, but for her smile, I will do anything.
Oh.
So the whole family, my daughter, my son, my son's fiance, and Little Butt, me and Lady Monkey go out, and we're driving. And usually when we drive, I'll yell back to her because I sit in the seat right in front of her, and I'll say like, "Little Butt," and she'll go, "What?" And I'll just say something silly. And like today, I go, "Hey, Little Butt." She goes, "What?" I said, will you give Uncle Bear a message?" She goes, "Sure. Uncle Bear, you're up too early." Didn't even wait for me to give her a message to give. She just made up her own. Like, she's not wrong. I didn't say I had a specific message.
Well, you didn't say, do you want to give him a message that I crafted for you?
Right, yeah. She's like, "Sure, I'll give him a message." And she made up her own, which was great. Oh, God, she's so full of life, man. She's been getting to spend a lot of time with her parents, which is obviously something she needed because this little girl is just full of sass these days. Did you guys have anything before we jump into serious? Do we have serious stuff? I've been away from the internet all day, so.
Oh, we got super serious stuff. I mean, your title says part of it.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Otherwise, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and many of you have not. Once again, you know how fragile Monkey's ego is.
My ego is more fragile than my body, guys. Come on.
Oh, that's saying something. And
exactly.
Share our stuff. If you like what we do, repost it in places and things and stuff, because you guys are the only algorithm that really helps us at the end of the day.
Oh, I have another Little Butt story for you. So I get home, and her uncle watched her while we went to the doctor, and told Lady Monkey, like, "I need sleep. I got 1 hour of sleep last night." So I go to lay down, and Little Butt and Lady Monkey come into the room. Little Butt and Lady Monkey. Yeah, I said that right. Anyway, Little Butt gets up on the bed. She goes, "You going to sleep?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Will you tuck me in?" She goes, "Okay." And she comes over. She pulls the little blankets up around my neck, and she gave me a little kiss on the cheek and a hug. I'm like, "Oh my God." And then I passed out, and I don't remember anything till she woke me up. She takes such good care of her grandpa. She really does.
Oh.
She got to lull you into that false sense of security before she takes you out.
Oh no, she is my little buddy, dude. If you tried to hurt me, she would mess you up. You can mess with anyone else. You don't mess with Grandpa. Jacob Jettench asked, "Did any of you see the latest stupid tweet from JF?" He blocked me over suggesting he slept with a retard. So no, I didn't. So what do we have in the news? Anything explosive?
Diarrhea. No, wait. Yeah. So my prayer, so to speak, from the other night was answered. Though ideally, I would have preferred if the guy had been caught and rotted in the box for the next 20 years or something, or the rest of his life. But the Austin bomber blew himself up.
Yay!
There's a whole extra story to this, and some more stuff has come about in the last couple hours. So I'll read the latest. The headline reads, "Austin bomber left 25-minute confession video on his phone." So we might actually find out what his rationale is, if that really matters. As the Austin bomber sensed that authorities were closing in on him on Tuesday night, he He took out his cell phone and recorded a 25-minute video confessing to building the explosive devices, but didn't explain why he targeted his victims. Ah, never mind. Quote, "It is the outcry of a very challenged young man talking about challenges in his life that led him to this point," the interim chief said. "I know everybody is interested in a motive and understanding why, and we're never going to be able to put a rationale behind these acts," Manley told reporters Wednesday night. The video made by Mark Anthony Condit, whose string of package bombs killed 2 people and wounded 5 in Texas, was found on his cell phone when police recovered his body this morning. The cell phone was in Condit's possession at the time of his death. Manley says the Condit did not mention any references to terror groups or bring up hate. Condit killed himself after police tried to stop him early Wednesday in what investigators described as an explosion inside his car. Federal agents went to the bomber's home Wednesday while police interviewed his roommates, attempting to determine whether any bombs remained and if Condit acted alone. And here's some bullet points. Authorities think they may have accounted for every bomb Condit made. Think they have. Okay. Condit, 23, lived in Pflugerville, a city just outside Austin, according to public records. Officers detained and questioned Condit's 2 roommates Wednesday. Neither person was under arrest. An arrest warrant for Condit and a criminal complaint charging him with 1 count of unlawful possession and transfer of a destructive device were filed Tuesday night. An affidavit detailing the reasons for the warrant and charge is under seal. An aunt of Condit said her family is, quote, "devastated and broken at the news that our family could be involved in such an awful way." Anyway, so, yeah, the cops had basically narrowed down who he was based on a whole bunch of pieces of information and tracking down. There was video footage of him, and they had some electronic information that kind of traced him up. And as basically they were surrounding the area to get close to him, he was sitting in his car and apparently blew himself up with his own bomb. So,
you know, I told you before the stream, I finally finished watching Punisher.
Yes.
And for those of you who haven't seen it, close your ears for a second. There's a part of this that actually is kind of relevant. I don't feel sorry for this guy being gone at all. I don't. Fuck him. I'm glad he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But his family, I cannot imagine being his dad and going, my son did this.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks. But I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad he didn't take anybody else out with him.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, like I said, when it first broke that he was dead, my first thought was, I hope he was acting alone. There's not like some other partner or something out there running around. And the other thing was, I hope he didn't put any more packages in the mail before they caught him.
Sure.
But, you know, they say they don't think there are any more, so fingers crossed there aren't. And of course, like with all these things, like the Vegas shooter, like all these kind of things, the motive really doesn't matter to me. Nothing he could say is going to rationalize anything that he's done.
Nope.
My only concern is if the motive is connected in some way to a larger scheme or some other organization. That's really the only determinative value that I see in finding out a motive. Other than that, I couldn't care less.
Right.
I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's over with. If there is anything else to come about from this, it's just, you know, like I say, if there's something else or if there's someone else or if somehow finding out the why means anything.
You know, the why doesn't mean I'm with you on that, because there's not going to be a reason that's good enough for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I do wonder what drives a 23-year-old to this. Just from a psychological perspective, I don't care about him specifically, but at 23 to be so mad at the world to start blowing people up, that's weird.
Well, what was that guy's name who shot up all those girls in like California? Who left the manifesto. I mean, it doesn't take much if somebody feels frustrated and they're young and they think that they're owed something or they don't have another way out or whatever the hell it is. Not that it makes it better, but it doesn't. I mean, school shootings by 11-year-olds and so on. This doesn't surprise me anymore, which is kind of a depressing thought. But
yeah, like I say, just his age is the one that really got me. I was expecting him to be in his 30s at least, more like his 40s. You tend to get shooters younger than that. Thank you, nope. Good thing we are banning guns because that will totally stop bombs and other shit. Yeah. I I understand why people are afraid of guns. It's an irrational fear. It's gunophobia. But yeah, that's not going to stop the bad things from happening in your life. You're much better off taking what things we can fix and doing that, and then just living your life and trying to enjoy it while you can.
Everybody has this like Saturday morning cartoon idea of like villains.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it's just like the swiper no swiping syndrome, where like if you say it enough times, then they'll just be like, "Oh man," and just go home. Like that's not how that shit works.
We need to teach school shooters not to shoot.
There needs to be a version of Dora the Explorer where she says swiper no swiping, and then he just fucking bites, like fucking tears her throat out. It's like, shut up, bitch.
You know, swipers should change careers to just being like a Tinder maniac.
He should totally be their spokesperson.
Yeah, swiper no swiping unless it's to the right.
Right.
Let's see what else in the news. Well, the other big news, which actually kind of became super duper headline news on CNN. I mean, CNN put a headline up there like a celebrity died or something, that the full page was filled with this. Mark Zuckerberg has broken his silence on the Cambridge Analytica scandal.
Oh, finally, huh?
This thing has gone so bad. People are saying now that, and I didn't even think he had a chance to begin with, but they're like, any chance that Zuckerberg had to run for president in 2020 are now gone. And I'm like, holy shit. I feel like he had a chance to begin with, but.
Can we stop for a moment? Because I've seen this and I see all the outrage about it, and I get it, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a company that 2 weeks ago was asking their users if it was okay to get porn from children.
Right.
Am I the only one that thinks we have our priorities a little misaligned here? I get it. Yeah. Sharing data. Oh, they shared the fact that I look at X and Y and Z. Okay, fine. This is a company that was asking if it was okay to get naked pictures from kids. That seems a much bigger story to me.
Well, let me put it this way. It's not to say that it was somehow worse or bad or something, but you could chalk up the survey to a small group of people in the company not knowing what the fuck they're doing, whereas Facebook was making money off of selling people's personal data to a company that was using it for political means.
I don't care about that. I really don't. Don't give two shits about it. And yeah, you can say it was just a small group there at Facebook that was asking about naked pictures from kids, but Facebook themselves came out and went, "Oh, it was just an accident." No, it wasn't. That was a shitty response that came from the company. That's not just a small group there. So to me, that is still the much bigger story. And I can't believe it's everybody. Oh, they shared my data. What about sharing pictures of naked kids?
Well, if they could have connected that survey to the Trump campaign, then it would have been a bigger story.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Been in there like swimwear.
Let's see. Mark Zuckerberg breaks his silence, yada, yada, yada. The Facebook CEO pledged Wednesday to take a series of steps to protect data and fix what he called a, quote, breach of trust between the social network and its users. Quote, "We have a responsibility to protect your data, and if we can't, then we don't deserve to serve you," Zuckerberg wrote in a Facebook post. "I've been working to understand exactly what happened and how to make sure this doesn't happen again."
You sold the information, you dick.
I really have to wonder, and again, this isn't like apologetics or anything, but I don't think Zuckerberg even knows what his company does anymore. He's chairman of the board or whatever, but
I think he's more involved than you might think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. News broke this weekend. The Cambridge Analytica, a data firm with ties to President Donald Trump's campaign, and a whole bunch of other things. Why is that the big deal?
Because that's why this is a big deal. Remember, we just had a story the other day from Obama's camp saying that they were allowed use of this information without paying for it.
Right.
For political purposes, and nobody has an issue with that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these stories mention that at all, which is amazing.
It's all about they have ties to Trump.
Yeah. Let's see. Data firm with ties to President Donald Trump's campaign reportedly accessed information from about 50 million Facebook users without their knowledge. Facebook accesses your information all the time without your knowledge. Facebook says the data was initially collected by a professor for academic purposes in line with its rules. Okay. The information was... Yeah, what academic purposes do you need that kind of data for? The information was later transferred to third parties, including Cambridge Analytica, in violation of Facebook's policies. The controversy wiped away nearly $50 billion from Facebook's stock price earlier this week and prompted politicians on both sides of the Atlantic to call for Zuckerberg to testify. Like that's going to do anything. Facebook is now facing lawsuits from investors and users, as well as Delete Facebook movement. The latest member of the latter, Brian Acton, the co-founder of WhatsApp, which Facebook acquired for $19 billion in 2014. It's interesting, you're the people that bought you out, you're saying delete Facebook. In his post Wednesday, Zuckerberg said Facebook will take steps to further restrict developers' access to user data, including automatically removing access for any app the user hasn't opened in at least 3 months. Okay. Facebook will also promote an existing tool that helps users revoke permissions of apps accessing their data. The tool will appear at the top of the newsfeed page in the next month. So all of this is essentially a big confession that they fucked up and the lawsuits are coming. So what's their defense?
There doesn't seem to be a defense. They're just saying, like, we're going to clean up this mess. And it's like, well, how did the mess happen? We're going to clean it up.
Yeah. Did they actually break any laws here?
That I don't know. They don't say anything about it here. I guess I honestly don't know. I have no idea. I mean, maybe breaking the... they're saying that what happened violated their own rules and Facebook did not know about it or did not have any control over it, which is silly since they're basically giving the information away without users, consent, maybe, because if people put stuff on Facebook, I mean, do they anticipate it's not going to be sold to outside parties in some fashion? I don't know what the fine print of the terms of use of Facebook are, so I don't know, honestly.
It just sounds like business as usual to me. Like companies are doing shit like this all the time,
but and Trump.
I think it's just the transparency thing that people are making a big deal about because they're like, we didn't know, and I'm like, you never fuck it, you hardly ever know. So that's not a big thing, but Facebook has been in the news and people are like, oh, Trump's got something to do with this, then it's important. Let's make a big deal out of it, even though there's probably 100 other companies that should be under the microscope for this exact thing at this exact moment. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, like guys, companies like Facebook and Google, these guys make money selling your information, whether you know it or not. They might have to do it anonymously and not actually attach. I'm wondering what the issue is here because it sounds like shit they do all the time.
Yeah, we are their product. Like,
yes,
that's what we are. We are basically a currency to them, and our information is what they pretty much make a pretty decent amount of their money off of. That's why, for whatever reason, when I did that rant video yesterday, I uploaded it. And now all of a sudden, every fucking ad I get is about depression.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
I could not figure out one time. I started getting all kinds of ads on Facebook for transsexual dating services. And I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? And I made a post that made some transsexual joke. And that led to suddenly me getting all of this shit. And no, guys, I don't look at transsexual porn. I'm midget porn. Y'all know my story. But yeah, I just started getting all of this stuff, and it was from one goddamn post I made.
Dude, the moment Squishy put up that she was getting engaged, she changed her Facebook status on YouTube, on fucking Instagram, on everywhere you get commercials. She was getting wedding shit.
It's still popping up.
Yeah. Just out of nowhere. She like unrelated apps. I'm on YouTube right now. How am I getting
wedding napkins last night, and it's all over my fucking Facebook.
You know what it is? It's because they know bitch got a ring, and they look for that shit. And no, not tranny midgets. I like my midgets to have vaginas. Thank you so much. I like that people who are watching tomorrow can read the chat and see what I'm talking about now. Let's see. Facebook sold you to Google. Yeah. anything you look up, guys, unless you're using a very secure VPN, they're going to know your shit and sell it to somebody. They're going to try to target ads at you. It's how these companies make money. I deleted my Facebook post a month ago after being censored on a trans post. Yeah, I don't use mine very much. I use it mostly to keep in touch with family and friends. So anyhow, what else we got?
Let's see. Congress unveils $1.3 trillion spending package, which includes a background check bill.
Okay.
And how is it racist?
I just brought it up because it was, governmental stuff and might have something interesting in it. I don't know. Congress unveiled a massive bipartisan $1.3 trillion spending package Wednesday evening that will keep the government funded until the end of September. $1.3 trillion will keep us funded until the end of September.
That sounds about right.
Okay. I'm still so shocked by the cost of like a pair of Chuck Taylor All-Stars at this stage of the game, because I remember what they were like when I was a kid. So $1.3 trillion just seems like a lot of money to me for some reason.
ETs, yeah. Our federal budget, I want to say, is like $4 trillion a year.
Yeah.
So that's actually not bad for 6 months. And trillion, yes, guys. We spend a lot of money. We do.
Let's see. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said members of his party could, quote, feel very good about the proposal. Every bill takes compromise. Oh, they're talking about the country's gun background check system.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I skipped that part. Legislation also expected to include policy riders like a bill that incentivizes state and federal authorities to report more data to the country's gun background check system, commonly known around Capitol Hill as FIX-NICS.
Yeah, NICS is the national something. It's how they
it's the national something.
Yeah, it's how they do their background checks.
Yeah. Let's see. From opioid funding to rural broadband, and from student loans to childcare, this bill puts workers and families first.
Wait, rural broadband? Does that mean they're going to bring cable down my fucking street?
Yes, down your fucking street.
Yes. It literally says Ranting Monkey Street.
It's a rider. It's a rider in there specifically.
It fucking should.
Yeah, it's attached to that as an immigration bill, just so you know.
That's all right. You know what? They can hire illegals to come put it in. I don't give a fuck as long as I get cable.
Well, anyway, so yeah, spending bill. But the only other thing I had pulled up, because it's not really a day of the week without a Trump story, or a more direct Trump story. Trump is furious over the leak of a warning to not congratulate Putin.
He should be.
Oh yeah.
President Donald Trump was infuriated after it quickly leaked that he had been directly instructed by his national security advisors in briefing materials not to congratulate Russian President Vladimir Putin on his recent election victory during their call Tuesday morning. A source familiar with the president's thinking said, "Jesus, I love these titles they give people."
Familiar with his thinking.
Yeah, it's almost like ad libs or something. A source. Fill in with things that sound like a mind reader.
Yes.
Trump was fuming Tuesday night, asking his allies and outside advisors who they thought had leaked the information, noting that only a small group of staffers have access to those materials and would have known what guidance was included for the Putin call. According to the source, the incident resurfaces his long-held belief that there are individuals inside his administration, especially in the national security team, who are actively working to undermine him. Well, I would be hard-pressed to disagree with his suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
This was a national security briefing, and it was leaked to the press. That is a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you want to say, oh, it's just, Trump acting beyond his advice and everything else, that's beside the point. I mean, I'm not a Trump fan, but if the president is getting advice, whether he decides to take it or not, that advice should not be leaked out to the public from a national security briefing, for fuck's sake.
No.
I mean, you want to talk about destabilizing. I mean, Trump may destabilize our relationships with other countries by himself. But whether you like it or not, unfortunately, that's the president's prerogative. What is not the prerogative of people that serve the president is to tell the world things that are not their business.
And you know, I really don't get the whole issue with this. I understand people wanted Trump to talk to Putin about other things, but he called him to congratulate him on winning an election, and I don't have a big problem with that.
Well, I understand trying to legitimize something that almost everybody and their brother agrees was a rigged election. You know, sort of legitimizing someone who is effectively a dictator who cheated his way into a position of power. So on the optics of that, I can understand that. The American president sort of implying endorsement of such a person. I get that. But that's beside the point as far as the leaking issue.
No, I get that. But
yeah.
We've had presidents congratulate other people before that are, let's call them, shady. But yes, this leaking of a national security memo, that's just shit. If you want to go through the courts and issue a what's the Freedom of Information Act and try to get that, that's one thing. But for somebody who's part of the inner circle there, because from what I've read, there's only like 5 or 6 people who should have even seen this. That's fucked up.
Yeah. And you know things like this. I take away the fact that it's Trump. Any president, if they can't trust the people around them, the fact that Trump is purging so many people makes a lot more sense if he literally cannot trust anyone to keep their mouths shut about anything.
Yeah. And as you said, it is his prerogative whether he takes that advice or not.
Yeah.
And they said Obama did it, but everybody's claiming that, well, the context is different because Russia has been being naughty. So,
well, I mean, as far as the advice is concerned, I could understand from a political perspective, given the Mueller investigation and all the bad optics and everything else. You know, yeah, in any other situation, congratulating a leader, even if it's one that's kind of shady, isn't exactly news or anything.
Right.
But this particular leader, given the climate of things politically, I could see someone saying, don't do it, Mr. President. It's not going to look good. It's going to cause more problems diplomatically with other countries or other leaders or your party or whatever else. Sure. Okay. I could see someone making that argument. Again, the president's prerogative. But, you know, this wasn't leaking something that was like, well, even if it was something that was frivolous, I don't like the fact that the press is getting a direct pipeline into things happening in the White House 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
it's not a precedent. Precedent I appreciate, because, you know, if this happens for this president, what happens to the one that you guys like?
I could even see it if it was a big deal. I mean, this was somebody going, we don't think you should congratulate Putin. Don't do it. And the president going, I'm doing it anyway. That is not a whistleblowing worthy offense. You know what I mean? This isn't like, you know, Trump came out and said, you know what, we are going to gas Mexicans. If that's what happens behind closed doors, by all means, let us know. This is the president didn't take my advice, so I'm going to go smear him to the press.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was put out solely for the purpose of just making him look bad. Like there's no consequence really to this. Trump said he did it to make sure that he tries to at least keep the little ties that he does have and try to stay in good standing with them based off of all the alleged stuff that, you know, is going against him right now. He's like, there's no reason for me to pour more gas on this fire that is, you know, already kind of brewing. So why the fuck not? It's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal.
Thank you, ex-Bubba Hotep. Might have had a birthday yesterday I wasn't here for. Sorry, Satsu.
I don't quite get that one.
A birthday that I wasn't here for. Oh, Squishy's birthday was on the 18th.
That was on the 18th, a couple days ago, yeah. Speaking of birthdays, before we get into anything else, we need to do something here, guys. For those of you who aren't aware, it is Irate Bear's birthday. I love Bear, and even though he might not be here to hear it, I'm going to sing to him.
Oh, you are? Okay, fine.
You can join me.
Oh, thank you.
So, and it was ex-Bubba Hotep's birthday yesterday.
Oh.
So I guess you guys are singing to him too.
Are you ready? Irate Bear, if you're out there, this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy
Substantive.
birthday.
Substantive.
To you.
Substantive.
Happy birthday.
Substantive. Substantive. Substantive.
Happy birthday.
Substantive.
Dear
Substantive.
Irene.
Substantive.
Happy birthday.
Substantive. Substantive.
To you.
Substantive.
Happy birthday, Bear.
Yeah. And if you guys don't understand what that means, it's not for you. It's for Bear.
You know what's funny?
Mm.
Oh, wait. He did. You were in this chat and he said that shit to you. So never mind. It makes sense now. I know why you did that.
It's a very, very old inside joke between Bear and I.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I forgot you were in the chat and you said that and he said, fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this goes back a long way.
Oh, man.
Ex-Bubba Hotep, are you out there?
Oh.
And a 1 and a 2. Happy
birthday
to
you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Ex-Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotel.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. I hope you had a good day yesterday.
And I did it that way because Bubba Hotep has Elvis in it, the movie. So
I don't know why I started doing it that way. I just was having fun.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. For the 1 for the money, 2 for the show, a 3 to get ready. Now go, can't go, but don't you? A step on my blue suede shoes. Or you can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. Yeah, we're not singing all night. So what else we got? Are we done with news?
that was all the news I had pulled up. Yeah.
All the news that's fit for us to talk about. With that in mind, guys, we have this little thing called #MSS News. If there's stories you think we would be interested in covering, hit us up on Twitter at #MSS News. Scribbles, what do we have going on #MSS News tonight?
Well, Monkey, we have many things going on. Let me tell you.
Please do.
Y'all should keep that up for as long as you can.
And now, Satsu with the weather.
It's gonna rain.
It's
Somewhere.
cold out there. Let's see. This first one comes from My Cud Stinks. Miami hospital allowed tribal police to kidnap newborn baby, parents say. Okay. A smiling baby with a thick head of black hair, Ingrid Ronan Johnson, was born to a Miccosukee. I'm assuming this is like an Indian tribe name. I don't know how to say it. I'm probably fucking it up. Miccosukee mother and a white father inside Baptist Hospital in Kendall. 2 days later, police detectives arrived at the hospital acting on a court order to remove the baby from the new parents. The order was not signed by a Florida judge, but by a tribal court judge on a reservation 32 miles away in the heart of the Everglades. The cops were from the Miccosukee Police Force, a department whose jurisdiction covers mainly the reservation and properties owned by the tribe. The hospital on Sunday allowed the baby to be taken away. The parents, Rebecca Sanders and Justin Johnson, are now heartbroken and outraged. Of course they are, filing complaints with Miami-Dade police, state prosecutors, and the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs. On Tuesday, they told the Miami Herald that the tribal court order was a sham concocted by the baby's vengeful maternal grandmother, Betty Osceola, who simply did not want a white father to be part of the child's life. Quote, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this happened, Johnson, 36, said tearfully. I can't even begin to explain how hard this has been. I don't see how people of the Miccosukee tribe can look me in the face and tell me this is okay. Said Sanders, 28, a tribal member, quote, I feel like I have no rights. I thought the tribe was to protect its people, not use its own ruling to control its people. By Tuesday evening, after inquiries from the Herald, Miami-Dade Director Juan J. Perez said his department had initiated an immediate inquiry into what happened. Quote, once we have additional information, we can determine what, if any, additional steps are necessary, he said. I want to know why Miami-Dade cops just sort of stood by and said this was okay. just on its face seems like maybe we should wait for a court order from a judge here where the baby was actually born.
How the fuck do you? I mean, both parents were there, so it's not like this was a mom-dad thing. A grandma snatched the baby,
and the baby is as much not native as it is native. If you want to talk about all those things,
it's time to just get rid of reservations. I'm sorry. Either join the U.S. or don't. But it's enough of this shit. You don't get your own laws. Fuck that.
How does tribal law cover the other half of the baby's parentage?
Because if they were to have said anything, it'd have been racist. Yeah, grandma is evil. Fuck that bitch. This is so stupid. Anyhow.
Okay, well, I hope the baby is returned to its parents quickly.
Thank you, Sanguine. That hospital is buggered for not confirming that the papers were valid. Well, technically they are valid. They're just not valid here in the U.S.
They're just not valid by any logical standard of morality.
But this brings up a point. Do you think maybe the spirit of Florida man comes from somebody building like a parking lot on top of an old burial ground?
Yeah, the spirit of Florida man is a vengeful spirit to take out anybody who wasn't native to Florida. But that insanity has now spread to anybody in Florida. It's morphed over time.
I was thinking maybe that there was like a retarded Indian that got buried and anyhow.
That's not nice.
Let's see. This one comes from Issy Untitled or Icy Untitled. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Service Canada's neutral directive using and will be corrected, says minister. Okay. A federal cabinet minister says a directive to Service Canada agents, I'm not quite sure what Service Canada is.
Sounds like a blowjob.
Exactly. Telling them to use gender-neutral language, such as parent instead of mother or father when speaking to the public, was badly worded and will be corrected. The directive, obtained by Radio Canada, the French language arm of CBC, instructs Service Canada employees who interact with the public to stay away from terms such as Mr., Mrs., father, mother, and to, quote, use gender-neutral language or gender-inclusive language. Quote, this avoids portraying a perceived bias towards a particular sex or gender, says a copy of speaking notes prepared for managers and team leaders. Quote, it is important that Service Canada, as an organization, reflects Canada's diverse population and ensures that the views and interests of Canadians are taken into account when we develop policies, programs, services, and initiatives.
That's retarded. That is fucking stupid. Real quick, thank you, ex-Bubba Hotep. If you could contain the essence of Florida man, you would have the fountain of youth. Keep in mind, youth comes with stupid. Indeed. Somebody else, Bad Comics Review says, runs with JF was his name. He drooled a lot. Anyway. That's fucking awesome. How do you do this where you're, okay, let's say you have, and I don't know what Service Florida does, but how
Canada.
do you do gender, or yeah, sorry, Canada.
same difference.
Same thing. If you're trying to describe somebody and you just describe them as parent, isn't that kind of fucking vague? There's literally at least two.
If you don't know who you're talking to, maybe is like if you're talking to a child, you're trying to talk to their. I mean, are your parents home? I mean, that might be what you would ask. Usually say like, is your mom or dad home? Or something like that. I don't know. I don't understand it. Everybody's like walking on eggshells on the off chance they might offend someone. It's like, fuck off.
Well, imagine a case of a child being kidnapped by a non-custodial parent. Yes. Be on the lookout. This child is with their parent.
Which one? We can't say. It would be offensive and assume a gender.
Yeah, and we don't want to show favoritism, so figure it out.
So if you see a child with an adult, then call the police.
On this same vein, I want you to look for the story I put in there.
Okay. Right now or later?
Now, if you would, because it ties kind of in.
Let's see. How long ago? Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. I think. Is it the women's college thing? Okay. So this one comes from Ranting Monkey. Women's college instructs professors not to call students women. I'm going to read that again for those in the cheap seats. Women's college instructs professors not to call students women.
Now, before you read any further, can you guess why?
It assumes the gender of a transgender student.
Ding, 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 ding. It's like you've done this before.
My God, have I been exposed to toxic waste for years now?
What I still don't get it. Like, if you're right 99.9% of the time, and there's like a 0.1% chance that somebody can come and be trans, why does that warrant changing your entire language? Just in case. Like, yeah, it's just in case that 1% might show up. So change your entire language to accommodate that 1%.
Hey, Satsu, if there's one person who's allergic to peanuts, do you really want to be the guy who said, well, 99.9% of people aren't?
Yes.
Oh, okay. An all-women's college in Massachusetts tells its teachers not to say women in the classroom, but rather use the word students. You know, on that point, I don't give a shit, but the reasons behind it are just ridiculous. Professors are instructed to say Mount Holyoke students instead of Mount Holyoke women, as well as avoiding statements like, we're all women here, or referring to the two genders as part of a teaching and learning initiative. Yes, let's teach and learn biology by preventing ourselves from talking about biological reality.
Real quick.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, Cassie. Call them incubation unit and non-incubation units.
Wow. So
go ahead.
Are trans like men able to go to this women's school?
Well, here, yeah, it's going to get into that here in a second. The supporting trans. This is the title of something. So, quote, the Supporting Trans and Non-Binary Students Guide was created by officials at Mount Holyoke to promote a, quote, gender-neutral environment. Yet on the school's website, it says, quote, imagine if every day were International Women's Day, meet Mount Holyoke. It also boasts of being founded by a woman in 1837. The college now wants professors to take an intersectional approach to the classroom by becoming aware of the multiple forms of oppression and privilege each individual faces and how they interact with one another, which is called insanity. I can imagine
it's not going to be an all-woman school anymore?
It is. It's an all-student school.
So hold on. We're almost there. While Mount Holyoke maintains it is committed to its historic mission as a women's college, it says it recognizes that what it means to be a woman is always changing. Quote, traditional binaries around who counts as a man or woman are being challenged by those whose gender identity does not conform to their biology, the policy states. The college formed a gender inclusion task force to assist with the changes. Any biologically born female can apply for admission, but only a biologically born male who, quote, identifies as other/they/they when they/other identity includes woman and one who identifies as a woman. These are VCR instructions.
So I can just go to that school now. It's not an all-woman school. I'll just be like, hey, I'm a woman. I identify as a woman. So
I'm a lesbian,
I'm about to fuck all these bitches.
I came out last year as a lesbian. I'm a woman. I can go to the school.
Yes, I'm gonna walk in that bitch like, hi, I'm Riley Dennis.
Shit.
Yeah. Now here's what happens is it's like you look him in the eye and you say, tell me that I'm not.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
And then, tell me that I'm not, and then you can speak to my lawyer who's standing next to me here.
And then I'm gonna whip my dick out and piss in the sink.
Yeah, and that's actually my vagina because my dick isn't actually a dick anymore because I said so.
This is just getting so stupid. That explanation they gave there. They say in there, you know, it's because what it means to be a woman is changing all the time as gender norms are challenged. Just because something is challenged doesn't mean we have to give it any weight. Rachel Dolezal said she was black. She ain't. We don't have to sit here and go, well, maybe trans black is a real thing. Fuck off. This is a women's school.
God talks to me It's true because I said so.
Indeed.
And you have to respect what I say. And obviously, if I say something, it's with the endorsement of the Almighty himself. Tell me I'm wrong.
Thank you, Rothvik. Is that how you said it? Rothvik. That was word salad. All it's missing is its special sauce salad dressing. Yeah, no shit. That Scribe described it very well as VCR instructions, because holy fuck.
This story can't be true. Please tell me this is a fake story. This comes from Adonis Bartolot. Bartolot? I hope it's not true, but I can imagine that it is. As gun hysteria spreads, Disney removes blasters from upcoming Star Wars movie posters.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The new, let's see.
Remember, they removed guns from E.T.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars fans looking forward to the upcoming Han Solo movie may notice something different in the updated poster. The new design removed Han Solo's gun from the promotional material. In a move of digital trickery to change iconic characters, Disney has released new images of Solo, a Star Wars story's cast, without their iconic blasters. The change on the Solo posters came after the media uproar about guns following the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida last month. This is being seen by some fans as the biggest perversion of the canon. Okay, dangerous.com. Canon, in this instance, does not have 3 N's. I mean, if you're trying to make a joke about canon as in a gun or something, but canon as far as like staying in continuity to an established franchise is C-A-N-O-N, not C-A-N-N-O-N. Just, I mean, if it was an attempt at a pun.
Oh, shit. Thank you, Rothvik. Star Wars Episode 9, Revenge of the Sith.
Anyway.
Real quick, thank you, Chaos Eve. Wait, do you think I can sue those people for appropriating my trans culture? Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Sue the fuck out of them. You'll win. You're trans.
What's so funny about that is the blasters are still going to be in the fucking movie.
I tell you what, oh God, the look on his face. So the look on his face when he's holding the gun, it makes sense in context, like his expression.
Sure.
And then you take away the gun and he just looks like he's fucking bewildered.
Yeah, imagine the Die Hard poster where he's sitting there with the gun, and if you take that away, he just looks like, man, I need a toilet.
Although, I'll tell you what, though, if you flip from the no blaster version to the blaster version, it almost looks like an animation of him drawing his gun. So that's kind of cool.
They do know that blasters weren't used in that shooting, right?
No, they don't.
The blasters aren't even fucking real.
No, they're making guns cool, monkey. That's wrong.
But this like links to the thing I was saying before. That they thrive off of arbitrary bullshit that means nothing because it's still in the movie. There will still be blasters in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to go back to the old posters and take out the Death Star because it was a giant gun.
Oh my god!
Do you think they'll stop selling Han Solo blaster toys? The most marketable piece of equipment that is attached to that character. You think they'll stop selling those to make sure they don't offend anyone?
Yeah, it'll just come with a dildo now instead.
When are they going to go after Nerf?
You want to keep
they
going,
actually
monkey?
did.
Oh, sorry.
No, let's go ahead and wrap that up there. Guys, thank you so much for your contributions to hashtag MSS News. And I'm sorry when I pull rank like that one, but that article just went so well with the other. I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Let's see. YouTube time. Satsu, what'd you do today?
I ranted about actually I did that yesterday, but I uploaded it today. And there's going to be a more level-headed video to come out to make some corrections and just talk about the overall situation and some more things that I wanted to add that I couldn't when I was pissed. But yeah, if you want to see me go off. And I ended the video, like if you guys watched that video, I literally ended it unlike any other video. I said I can't deal with this shit and the video just stopped. Nice. Like no outro, no nothing, because at that point I kind of just got up and walked off and it was still recording.
I don't blame you. This shit has gotten really stupid. I mean, they're removing Han Solo's blaster from fucking movie posters.
Oh,
oh God. Scribbles, how about you?
Well, I'm still looking at it right now, but I may be returning to an old friend with my next video, and that would be Fusion.
Oh,
So I made a mistake because I assumed something incorrectly way back when Splinter appeared. It seemed to me that they moved everything out of Fusion into Splinter. They were just changing the name and making a new channel or something. But no, Fusion remained as its own thing. They just changed the entire format. And for the longest time, Fusion had videos on like drag queens and cars, and it was really weird.
Yeah.
They're trying to find themselves. But today, Fusion posted a video about immigration again. Although this time, and again, I'm still watching the video. I'm not sure if it's material that I'll end up working on, but the premise is that they're trying to essentially generate intersectionality amongst different communities to blend the struggles of the Black community, the Latino community, and the undocumented community as one combined issue. That's what I'm getting from this video. I'm not quite sure where it's going yet. I've only watched the first minute or so, but that's the premise. So that's what I'm looking at. I don't know if it's going to turn into a video or not, but that's one of the things I'm looking at. Another thing, Point Curation sent me a video link to a lecture some professor was giving on why it's okay to work against whiteness or something. Though the video he sent me is actually someone critiquing that lecture, so I kind of feel weird about maybe treading over ground that's already been trodden, because this guy's far more intellectual and academic than I am in cutting out critiques to this video. So I'll take a look at maybe the source video and see if there's something else there. But anyway, that is what I'm looking at right now.
I'm still trying to get the energy to sit up straight to actually make a video. So as soon as I can, guys, I will get one out to you. With that said, YouTube drama. Do we know of some? I know of some.
No, I haven't really seen anything.
There's a little bit of a back and forth going on because Jeff Holiday is on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, we heard about that.
And some of the Kumite folks today were very pissed off about that. I'm not sure why it upsets them so much. I don't really care. He's on there for his work. He's done a series about this woman who has a poop cult. I don't know what that all entails. I haven't seen the videos, but she was a guest on there as well, and he was there to provide the other side. He can't talk about it because he's got a non-disclosure. But yeah, there's some jealousy going on there. I'm just going to call it what it is. Because I don't care how big you think Kumite is, it's not a show watched by millions. And Jeff, who for some reason is their natural enemy, has gotten on there, and it's caused some issues. Real quick, thank you, Ace Phoenix. I am the voice of the silent minority. Having said that, I have just been fired. Oh, for real?
That sucks.
Were you playing our show? Because then I feel bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Skeptok got kicked off Facebook the other day, and he said all he posts is pictures of Hubble and my videos. And I'm guessing he's not getting kicked off for pictures from Hubble.
I don't understand how I haven't gotten kicked off of it. Well, it might be because I'm black, but
I thought you were about to say I haven't gotten blacklisted from Facebook. I was like, well, Satsu.
No, because like I'm telling you, there are some people on there who I talk to, like people who I used to consider friends, who are like straight like black activists now, who like say some off the wall, almost genocidal shit about white people, and I'm just like, well, they're still here, so I should be safe. Like, Jesus Christ.
The other thing is, yeah, apparently JF was running his mouth about how he doesn't really care about what happens to Count Dankula because Count Dankula's been mean to him before. JF, sincerely, if you hear this, go fuck yourself, you thin-skinned piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck everybody's freedoms as a whole because that guy was mean to me.
He was mean to me.
That's SJW logic.
Yeah, somebody screenshotted that for me and shared it so I could see it because JF is such a thin-skinned pussy. I'm blocked. So, hey, Day is Dead's here. Hey, Day. If you guys don't watch her, make sure you do. She's cute and she does these great parody songs. She doesn't do enough of them, Day. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, FYI too, since you guys aren't really always up on what's going on Facebook, the conversation on Facebook about the bomber is how he is not being referred to as a thug or, you know, something like that.
Oh, so, he's a thug.
Yeah, black Facebook.
I did it. That's he's a thug.
Isn't he? He's not a thug. He's chunks.
Well, they're saying if he was black, he'd be a, you know.
Hey, you can't call him chunk because that's an insult to Goonies.
And real quick about the JF thing, yeah, the one post that was linked to me, he said he made a joke about it, but he really doesn't care what happens to Dankula because he'd been mean to him. That's what I was referring to. Yeah. So if we call him a thug, that all goes away. The bomber was a thug. There you go.
Magic words.
Well, they're talking about, you look at the keywords they're usually using. He was troubled, you know, and blah, 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 and as opposed to just being a dangerous thug who needs to be stopped. They're sympathizing with the bomber is what, at least that's what the narrative is. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, anyhow. So that's all I knew about YouTube drama. Like I said, guys, I wasn't on the internet very much at all today. Just when I was in the car on the way to and actually on the way to the doctor's appointment, I slept. So sorry if I missed something major. Do we have a deep topic tonight?
Well, I don't know if this is as breaking as this tweet says, but they've actually released the video from the cameras on board of the Uber car.
Oh, where they ran over the person?
Yeah, and it shows the exterior view of what was in front of the car when it happened. And truth be told, there was no way to know that lady was there. She comes out of absolute pitch darkness right in the path of the car. I would be surprised if any driver wouldn't have been unable to stop for this lady, whether you were a robot or not. Because now, granted, a robot supposedly should be able to see in the dark and have like sensors and things like that. But if you actually watch the exterior video, and I'll retweet it here in a second, she just like walks out of a pitch black shadow straight in front of the car. Like there was no indication that she was there until she's right in front of the car. So
fair enough.
It might have been something that was unavoidable for any human being, let alone a robot. So who knows? But anyway, you can take a look at that.
And if that is true, this is another one of those times, and I've seen this twice recently, where the headlines just don't do a good enough job telling the story. The other one is, we talked about that white supremacist asshole who's running for Congress in Illinois. He's running in a district that hasn't been Republican like ever or something. Nobody else ran against him, but he won the primary, and it's actually on Facebook, or not Facebook, Twitter moments. They're talking about this, like, oh, look at how this racist Republican has won this election. No, he didn't win shit. He's a troll who picked a district nobody was going to spend money in because they knew Democrats are going to control that district. Right. But it's being presented as though, look what the Republicans put out there. The Republicans disavowed this asshole. Nobody is supporting him. He won by default.
Default.
And the way that it's being presented, though, is like, look at them racist Republicans. Like, no, it's go fuck yourselves. That's a horrible way to present a story that you know is different than you're showing it.
Yeah.
Now, at least with the Uber one, we didn't have the details, and they probably should have waited before they undriven car kills woman. Yeah, I mean, sometimes pedestrians step in front of moving cars, and there's nothing a driver can do.
Yeah, she had to have crossed one lane of traffic, or so it was a 2-lane road. The truck was on the the regular side of the road. She was already across in the middle of the road by the time the headlights even indicated that there was a person there, because she walked out of, like, she was operating in between streetlights in absolute pitch darkness. There was, like, the time between noticing that she's there and the car hitting it was, I don't think even the best human reaction time would not have at least clipped her, let alone running right into her. So,
you ever seen that video of the chick who steps in front of a train?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people do some really stupid shit, and if this is the worst that's happened with an Uber automatic driven car, and that is actually footage from it, I can't say there's a problem with the cars yet. I still think it's scary as shit. Don't get me wrong, but
sure. As far as deep topics, I have one kind of, because I'm very curious as to what this story's headline means to tell us.
Okay.
It might only take a couple minutes, but I don't know. So first up, do you know who Cynthia Nixon is?
Yeah, she was one of the Sex and the City girls. I know what you're about to get to. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the headline from the Washington Post. Cynthia Nixon, by the way, is an actress. She's an activist of things that I know of. She's never held public office at all, but she is running for governor of New York. And the headline from the Washington Post says, "What does Cynthia Nixon's run for governor mean for single women?"
Nothing.
Well, that would be my answer, but I'm curious as to know what the opinion is of Jennifer Keishan Armstrong at the Washington Post. Okay. And again, if this gets stupid, I'll stop, but I was just too curious not to ask. Miranda Hobbs is running for governor of the state of New York.
That was her name on Sex and the City.
Yeah, except, of course, she isn't. She can't be, since she's a fictional character from HBO's Sex and the City. That's an interesting way to start your article, lady. The actress who played her, Cynthia Nixon, is the one who's running. Why did you even have those two sentences there?
So you pull in that pop culture.
And maybe once the smoke clears from the announcement that she's challenging incumbent Andrew M. Cuomo for the Democratic nomination, and maybe once she starts talking policy, we'll be able to see Nixon, the real person, as the candidate. For now, however, it's impossible to deny the symbolism of one of the four main Sex and the City characters. She's not a character.
There's no symbolism there. What the fuck are you talking about?
She's a person. What the
real quick, thank you, Rothvik. Hey, Monkey, what do you think about Antifa's recent attempt to shut down one of Sargon's talks? I'm curious about your opinions on Antifa supposedly losing steam behind their group. I think that they made a complete ass of themselves and gave Sargon more attention than he would have gotten otherwise. And at least here in the U.S., yeah, I think they're probably losing steam. That happens with all kinds of groups. You see it happening with the alt-right right now too.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the shine that the media had given Antifa like last summer or so has dulled significantly after they actually started looking at what they actually do and what their activities actually result in. Especially that whole I think it was like some kind of protest in San Francisco where they ended up being the aggressors against people who were, maybe Trump supporters, but they weren't doing anything. So
I also want to add too that the alt-right never built up their own steam to begin with. Like the people around them literally created this big ass steam cloud, and it's like dissipating, and they're like, "Oh, it's finally dying down." I'm like, "You started this shit. They've been minding their business for the longest. You are the reason that they even came into, popularity again anyway." So
thank you, Diesel Dave. Wait until the self-driving semis are a thing. Wasn't it a semi?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's what those vehicles are. Yeah. But yeah, as for if you look in the US, there are very few organizations that last for a long time with any kind of relevance. You have things like Planned Parenthood's political arm. You have, of course, the NRA, the AARP, but otherwise you have all of these. You have like Occupy Wall Street. You have what was the conservative one? Oh God, shit. Anyhow, you always have these groups pop up, and they're popular, and they get a lot of attention from the media for a little while, and then they just go away. So anyway, back to your story, Scribe. Sorry about that.
I read a little bit ahead, and I see now why this person is writing this article. So I'm going to back up slightly and go forward. For now, however, it's impossible to deny the symbolism of one of the 4 main Sex and the City characters running for one of the nation's most powerful offices outside the White House. As I argue in my upcoming book, Sex and the City and Us, a few shows have changed the cultural landscape for women more than Sex and the City has. Yes, a bunch of women lusting after a man.
It didn't change shit. Other than women having a show where they talked about things like periods and how much they like fucking dudes, it didn't change anything.
The series was mostly apolitical, choosing to wage its rebellion in a fun, sparkly...
Rebellion.
Okay, so let's just make sure we understand that this person is writing this as a fluff piece to advertise their own book.
Yes, that's yeah.
They have to make this show more than it actually was. Otherwise, their entire reason for being and their entire efforts in making this book are null, which is how it should be.
Not only that, for people who advocate for female empowerment and shit, they sure do go out of their way to use whatever women who are doing something for themselves and making their own decisions say, how can we use this bitch? Like every time.
Oh, God. Given the unique combination of being cultural icons, I don't know the names of any character in that show except for Mr. Big, because that was Chris Noth and he was in Law and Order, and that's the only thing.
Carrie Bradshaw, come on, dude.
Carrie Bradshaw sounds like a football player.
That was her. Well played. Yeah, no.
Let's see.
That's Horseface.
An habitual lack of respect the Sex and the City women have endured since the show's premiere 20 years ago. Wait. If they're cultural icons, how can they be lacking in respect? Which is it?
Well,
it's particularly significant that one of them is running for political office. No, the actress is. Do you separate reality from fiction, person? I mean, like if Sean Bean runs for office, are you going to say that Ned Stark is taking over the world?
Yes, and we got to cut off his head.
God damn it. In fact, Nixon's run, well, at least you said her name, encapsulates the trajectory of women's political power over the past 2 decades.
What the fuck is this bitch talking about?
Not that I want to give her any more credit than she's due, but Hillary Clinton, any of the Supreme Court justices that are now in place, what the fuck is wrong with you? And
for the record, Nixon has no chance against Cuomo. None.
No, Zippo. I mean, in a Democratic primary, you have someone who has absolutely no public... Now, granted, given what Trump has done, that's not necessarily a downside. But
yeah, but this is running against a Cuomo in New York. Not going to happen.
Okay, I'm only going to do this last paragraph unless it really, really, really catches me, because I'm almost done with this. In Sex and the City lore, Miranda was the most substantively hi, irate bear, substantively feminist of the 4, and that makes Nixon's run for office still more resonant. Well, what if Nixon?
No, it doesn't.
What if Nixon wasn't a feminist? What if she was playing one on TV? I know she probably is a feminist in real life. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, if I play a character that does a thing, does that equate to me, the person, also doing that thing? If I play a serial killer on a television show, like the guy who played Dexter, if he runs for office, are you going to hold that against him? I just
real quick. Imagine that. Ex-Bubba Hotep, if Sean Bean would run for office, he'd probably die. Look at the roles he has that survive.
Oh, did I ever tell? It's the complete tangent. Did I ever tell you my movie idea for Sean Bean?
No.
So you ever see Being John Malkovich?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I know what it's about.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, that movie obviously was written for John Malkovich. You can't really have the movie without him. I thought it would be a really interesting movie, very sort of deep and psychological. It's called Human Bean. Okay, stay with me for a second. So it's all about Sean Bean as he goes about a sort of fictional week or something with a documentary crew sort of following around Sean Bean. And he goes from part to part where in different scenarios and in different roles, he ends up having to die because he's Sean Bean under different circumstances. And it becomes this sort of meditation on life and death every time that he has to die in a different way and sort of like exit the earth kind of thing.
You want to make Sean Bean into Kenny from South Park.
Well, I mean, but it's not like that because it's sort of like, you know, it's a mockumentary, but, you know, you watch Sean Bean die and then, you know, that kind of stuff. Human Being. I thought it'd be great.
That is cute.
Anyway,
Yeah,
not Mr. Bean, not Mr. Bean, Human Being. Human Being.
Several people in the chat have used the I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. I do wonder if this woman would like go see Zach Braff because she has a sore throat, you know?
Or Gina Davis needs to be president now because she played one on TV.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, God.
It would be hilarious. Like the world would really start to get hilarious if like celebrities started being held accountable for the shit they did in a part they played in a movie.
Yes.
It's like what's the name of the guy who plays Dexter? His real name? I forget.
Oh, I forget his real name. Shit. Chad,
anyway,
what's his real name?
Yeah. Anyway, like he's running for office. He's at a podium or something giving a speech, and then it's like he opens up the questions to the press and says, "How do you intend to balance out your claims of being for the people when you've murdered so many of them?" It's just like, Michael C. Hall.
Yes,
Michael C. Hall. Yeah, Mike. I always think of like what's the other actor that's the Hall? Anthony Michael Hall. That's why I was for some reason I always picture him when I try to think of the Dexter guy's name. I think of Anthony Michael Hall, and for some reason I can't tell why. And then somebody says, "Oh yeah, that's his name." Like, oh okay, or last name.
For those of you who've seen the whole series, if you were Dexter, wouldn't you have banged your sister? She's not your real sister, so there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just throwing that out there.
Sure.
Although actually, it turns out they were related. Anyhow. That
was it. I'm not going to read anymore.
Cool. We've had a bit of a chat going on here in our chat.
What?
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I've had no sleep today. Anyway, they're talking about intersectionality, and Ark is arguing about women not being a minority, which, by the way, that is true. Women are not a minority.
Yeah.
They are the majority on the planet. They are the majority in this country. There might be some countries where they are a minority, like China, where they purposefully bred them down.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, women are a minority or are a majority. But they're talking about intersectionality and how you shouldn't mix these things. And there's a reason they're trying to mix those things, and it's to make a bigger voting block and force people into doing things based on identities. So.
Oh yeah, because nothing fights objectification than narrowing people down to the most arbitrary traits that they have and putting them all in one group.
Because you make the problem bigger, and therefore your quest even more difficult to actually overcome or solve.
I've done 2 videos on this. There's one is a vegan who said that that vegans should be intersectional and support things like Black rights and women's rights, because that way, when it comes time to support vegan rights, those people will help them. It's not because they actually agree with any of this shit. It's all about. It's like political Survivor. We have to make a pact that will watch out for each other, even if we have nothing at all to do with one another.
Well, it's also, I think, it's a strategy to make sure the war is never ending, because so long. I mean, if you tie your struggle with like 50 other struggles and say that they're all effectively equal because they're all turned into this big stew, then nothing will ever be right. Everything will always be wrong in some fashion. Therefore, your complaints will always be relevant, and so will your victimhood.
If you want to see the biggest example of this bullshit, the other video I did it on is intersex. And the reason this is such a great example is because intersex conditions have very little to do with one another. And in some cases, nothing to do with one another at all.
Right.
But they decided what we need to do is we need to bring this under one umbrella. That's why it's actually considered a slur now to say, God, I just had the word. Penis and vagina. Hermaphrodite. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's considered a slur to say that, even though that's exactly what it is. It's being born with both sexes. And they point to it and go, well, it doesn't mean the same thing that it means in plants. Well, yeah, we get that because we're people. But they take this same thing with hermaphrodite, and now hermaphrodites are lumped into the same group as people with micro penises. And I forget the name of the disease, but the condition. There's actually a condition where women will be born with a fully formed vagina except for the hole. And it is one of the weirdest things you will ever see because it looks just like a vagina, but there's no hole there. Mm-hmm. These are 3 different conditions that have nothing to do with one another, literally nothing. But they put them all together so that you have this voting block and you can make change. Well, the person who's a hermaphrodite has entirely different needs than somebody with a micro penis. Just throwing that out there, guys.
Monkey, the way you explained it before, how like they try to just side with the people just so they can help them later on. For some reason, I thought of Fallout when you said that, like the way Fallout is structured, how you have to pick a group so that way later on it'll help you out, even if you don't particularly give a shit about what they're talking about. Like, I guess I got to make a choice. So fuck it.
It's also why we see them eating their own now, because that you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours only works when both people are scratching.
Oh yeah. And they're like, well, I fucking added you to my intersectional fucking clusterfuck, so you owe me, something, and they don't reciprocate, so they're like, betrayal.
Mm-hmm. It's basically a political pyramid scheme. Everybody gets on the ground floor, and you help that top group, and then that group gets what they want, and they move on. They don't care anymore. So if you're the last group, if you're the vegans, nobody's going to give a shit about not wanting to eat cows because cows are delicious. Weebo Jones, help me and not gay Caleb settle a debate here. What's a better alt term for the sexes? Holes and poles or holes and pegs? Holes and poles would be better there.
Wait. Holes and poles? That's just Weebo and Weebo.
Yeah. Alliteration wise, it's holes and poles. Sorry.
Yes.
I hope that's what side you were on.
Monkey, you watched all of Punisher.
I did watch all of Punisher.
I too have watched all of Punisher.
And you didn't like it as much as I think I did.
Sounds like it.
I really enjoyed it. And this is one of the things I've talked about with like Marvel properties before. The less I know about them, the more I can enjoy them. Mm-hmm. I do know a bit about Punisher, and I have some issues with the origin story, especially how because it was random violence. That's what should kick it off. Mm-hmm. And when they made it, they pulled a Riggs in Lethal Weapon 2. If you saw Lethal Weapon, his wife dies in a random car accident. In Lethal Weapon 2, they retcon that as they killed her on purpose.
Yes.
Like, no, don't do that shit. But I enjoyed most of it, yeah. Okay,
so I won't go over everything, but so what were your favorite parts overall?
My favorite parts are when he's killing fuckers.
Which isn't often enough.
It's really not. And I did have a problem with how quickly he healed. That motherfucker healed like he was Wolverine.
Yeah, there's that too.
If you go to the last couple of episodes, he is fucking broken. But then he's fine to go hand-to-hand combat. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. But it's okay because they stuck a needle in his lung. I really liked the relationship between him and Micro. I don't like what they did with Micro. Micro is not a family man, and they basically ruined him as a character going forward.
Yes.
But I did like the relationship between the two of those. I liked how when Micro's wife came on to him, he backed off. He's like, no, because I mean, even without the cameras going, because Micro has his house all camered up, they did a very good job of keeping Frank from getting into any romantic entanglements, because that's not what he does. Mm-hmm. I did not like his haircut because it kept making me think of Downs kids. I'm sorry for that, but it does. That he had the Downs kids haircut in the front, and that didn't come off well. Otherwise, I thought he looked the part pretty well. He's no Thomas Jane, but he'll do.
Yeah, I didn't. So Micro was probably my biggest, one of my biggest complaints of the whole show, just because he never called him Micro except twice. He called him David all the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't as, I was a little put off by his physical appearance because I'm like, okay, he's supposed to be obviously not the Punisher, which is why he can't do field work or something, but
Yeah.
super skinny, hairy guy in a bathrobe in a basement. I was like, that's not Micro. And the whole thing about Micro was he didn't have any attachments, just like Frank. I mean, they were similar in so many different ways, except for the fact that Micro was the logistics, material guy, the hacker, and Frank was the soldier, and he was the guy. I mean, they both could operate on their own in their own way, but you put them together and they're an amazing team. David here, I'm not going to call him Micro because his name wasn't Micro. He's not supposed to have a family. He's not supposed to have this albatross around his neck for everybody. I mean, no. I mean, then what? Frank goes over and babysits them all the time, fixing their garage and their sink and their car light. I mean, it was stupid. It just was stupid to me. And like you say at the end, they're still there. They're still going to be the collective damsel in distress for the pair as we go forward, unless they just write Micro out of the story, which I kind of hope they do.
They're going to have to. There's no way to bring him back with his family because he's a known quantity to the feds now. Anytime Frank turns up killing people, that's who they're going to go to first.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's pretty much gone as a character unless they open the next one by killing his family. Which
I would have no problem with, except that if they do, it'll be probably, again, not a random act of violence. It'll be some planned thing, which just takes the whole point of the Punisher away, really. Yep. Now, the thing I did like the most was the Billy Russo character.
He was excellent. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, Billy Russo in the comic books, if you know that name, as soon as I heard his name when I watched the TV show, I knew exactly who he was going to be because I knew the real identity of Jigsaw. So I was like, oh, and I love the compromise they made here to make their relation, because in the comic books, Billy Russo is just some gangster thug that the Punisher runs into. They didn't have any kind of relationship beforehand or anything. Except that Punisher knew he was a narcissist and all that, and that's why he fucked up his face. But in this one, I was like, okay, now this makes much more sense as to make them on equal footing as enemies, because they're both military trained, they know each other, they know each other's tactics, and the whole idea that they were friends and had a parting of the ways kind of thing, sort of like Obi-Wan and Anakin after a fashion, makes their rivalry make much more sense. And the guy who played him did a great job. I really liked it. I really liked that guy.
I like how they didn't make him just straight evil.
Yes. He does have a code of honor after a fashion.
Yeah, the black guy, I can't remember his name, who, by the way, reminds me of Satsu. If you watch the black guy on Punisher, I forget his name in the show.
Do you mean the cop?
No. The other vet, the corpsman.
Yeah. He was a character just for the show. I don't remember his name.
Yeah. But if you watch his face, especially around the mouth, he reminds me very much of Satsu. If you watch live footage of Satsu,
you look at Satsu's mouth with detail, do you?
When people talk, I generally watch their mouths rather than their eyes.
Oh, okay. Satsu, you got a pretty mouth, apparently.
He does. He has a very pretty mouth.
Pen, like, I could fit in there.
I could tap that. Hey Satsu, how you doing? Speaking of that, I saw Deliverance at Walmart today. I'm like, no, fucking
yay, Deliverance! Woohoo!
I had to explain the story to I forget who was there with me. I think my daughter. She'd never heard of it before. I'm like,
oh god.
Yeah. Some guys go rafting and get raped by rednecks. That's the story of Deliverance.
Did you get sneakers while you were there?
I got it when I was there the other day.
Oh, okay.
We had to go back today because I got new medicine.
Oh, that's right, guys.
Baby?
Oh, sorry. You have a super
night, sweetie. I love you. Thank you for everything today. She's my guardian angel. She took me down to my appointment. She took me to go get my medicine. X Bubble Hotep, thank you. The guy missing a leg reminds you of Satsu. Remember that Satsu. No, watch him and then watch Satsu and tell me that there's not some clear similarities. God damn it. My screen keeps going black because I'm not actually touching my mouse. But yeah, I really did enjoy the Punisher series. I think for you and me, it's probably very much the same as how you could like Homecoming more than I did. Because I'm
Yeah.
I'm far more familiar with Spider-Man, and anything that changes about that pisses me off.
Well, I mean, I have a larger collection of Spider-Man than I do Punisher. I am a big Spider-Man fan. I didn't like Homecoming completely. There are a lot of elements I did appreciate, but like I said, there are pieces that kind of fell apart. But I gave it some leeway, I guess, probably more than I should have. You have a super chat.
Hey, Monkey. I'm sorry. Thank you, Rafik. Hey, Monkey, do you hope that Frank Castle stars in the next installment of The Defenders? I know I do.
They're not going to do another Defenders. I have it on relatively good authority that the likelihood of them having another team up of that scope again is pretty slim, given a bunch of stuff. Now, having one-off crossovers, because in the next Luke Cage series, one of the characters they're bringing in is Rosalie Carbone. And for those of you that know any Punisher lore, Rosalie Carbone was one of the gangsters of the Carbone family that was tied to Frank's family's death, at least in the comic books. Now, what she has to do with the Luke Cage storyline, I don't know yet. But the fact that she's there, maybe there'll be a crossover between Luke Cage and Punisher, which would be awesome. In theory.
I'm not a big fan of team-ups. Like, I never read the Avengers as a kid. I prefer a crossover, you know, a guest starring role, like the Punisher showing up on Daredevil makes sense. Daredevil coming into a Punisher storyline makes sense, but I'm not a fan of team-ups. I just think there's too much going on.
Defenders sucked. I mean, truth be told, a lot of things about how they tried to mush those characters together and make it make sense that they would team up didn't work. And I could go on about that for a long time, but I won't.
Drunken Uncle says, I can't find my wallet. The drunk guy can't find his wallet, y'all. We need to, that's a headline.
Check into the pineapple.
I think that might have been related to the fact that Pat just got here.
Oh my God.
Oh shit. Satsu.
I'm just reading the chat.
What is it?
I'm just reading the chat.
Peter's asked if we've seen the trailer for the new Avengers. I have such a nerd boner for that trailer.
I already got my ticket bought. I'm going on opening day, not opening night because I'm an old man now, but the morning of the 27th of April, I will be leaving work early to go see it because I'm cautiously optimistic. And I say cautiously optimistic because the last Uber Avengers movie, not Civil War, but actual like Ultron and all that, didn't quite do it for me. And there's a lot they're going to have to pack into this movie with all the characters and things. So I hope it works is all I'll say.
Me too. And I was skeptical of this movie from the start. I think this has to be at least 3 movies and they're only planning on 2.
Yeah.
But watching that trailer,
So, but yeah, the Punisher show.
I watched that trailer the way I watched Satsu's mouth.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
It just came up, guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, something came up all right. It's in Monkey's pants.
Satsu is selling us out in the chat. You motherfucker.
Wait, what happened?
What do you say?
He says, I pay attention to you guys because they don't.
What happened?
Oh, you are selling us out, you motherfucker.
Satsu, you understand that this is all recorded now and displayed forever on the stream, right?
So this is now the time you guys decide to pay attention.
No, we have been paying attention. You heard him talk about Drunken Uncle a minute ago and everything. We're paying attention. We can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Okay, in fairness, we do ignore chat a lot.
Sometimes thinking stuff.
Speaking of which, guys, it is basically the top of the hour, or bottom of the hour. Jesus, fuck me.
What's wrong with you?
Your turn. Questions, comments, concerns. If you think Satsu just sold us out, press 1 in the chat right now. Anything you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Does Satsu's mouth look like Weibo's grandma or something? Asked the chat Cochran. I don't know. She still won't send me pictures of her grandma.
Look, to be fair, whenever you guys start talking about something I can't contribute to, I start talking to the chat. Man, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, FDA did.
Rothic, thank you so much. Squirrel Girl is the only true Titan Slayer, in my opinion. I can't believe that's really a character.
Squirrel Girl's like getting her own show, or they're going to give like they're making a new Warriors show, I think, but somehow Squirrel Girl's going to be in there, which makes no fucking sense because she was never a new Warrior. She was, if anything, maybe like one of the Great Lakes Avengers, which was a parody show, which is if they want to do a comedy, is what they should do. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just somebody who knows the source material.
When do we get the new Howard the Duck?
Oh, well, you saw him have a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Well, he was just sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, he was sitting there. We're gonna get Cloak and Dagger here pretty soon, which
I hope they don't fuck them up.
But the trailers, I'm holding out judgment as always, but I like what they're doing in the trailers so far. Although it seems, and it seems to be suggested, that their origin in this iteration is more of a supernatural one than a a sort of chemical drugs gone wrong origin, which I don't have a problem with necessarily, because, now that Doctor Strange has been introduced, there's a supernatural aspect to the Marvel universe. I'm just wondering how it's going to go.
Drunken Uncle says, I saw a baby wearing a top that said, I'm just like my mom. And I thought, yeah, sexy.
Drunken Uncle said that, everyone. Drunken Uncle.
And you can verify that because you can see chat now.
Yeah, it's not covered up anymore.
Oh my God. Are hymns sexist?
Like biblical, like spiritual hymns?
Corey. God damn it. Corey asked that.
Yes, because they sound like him, which is deeply offensive. Yeah.
They have to be called Z's now.
Women's.
Or just X.
Zims. That's what you can call them. Zims.
Point Curation says, bets on the next YouTuber to be convicted over a YouTube video. Drunken Uncle. Have you seen his videos? If you guys haven't watched Drunken Uncle's videos, you really should. They are funny. If I want a guaranteed laugh, I watch a Drunken Uncle video.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever not laughed at a Drunken Uncle video.
Oh, his fucking quips are just horrible and wonderful at the same time. When he said black people probably had thick skin from all the whipping, I had to actually stop and go back and rewatch because I missed so much from laughing. That is horrible and funny at the same time, and that's why I love Drunkle. Let's see, what else do we have here, guys? Here's an idea. Marvel, hire a good director. You did well by firing Joss Whedon. Joss is not aging well.
No.
I am a huge fan of the Buffy series up until, say, season 5. I loved the final season of Angel. Firefly was great until the last episode. And since then, it's hit or miss with Joss. How long until Sargon ends up on the chopping block? Sargon, for the most part,
been on like multiple blocks of chopping.
For the most part, he's kept himself pretty clean. He did have his freak out at the alt-right where he's dropping the N-bomb over and over, but otherwise, for the most part, he doesn't do much weird. I mean, or that controversial. What did the blind, deaf, dumb kid get for Christmas? Cancer? Jesus Christ. That's courtesy of the Raz Dazzler. I love that our chat has turned into horrible jokes.
Oh, boy. Wait, I haven't seen Shio-Garas, so maybe they're picking up the slack.
Oh, no, Shio's in there. Yeah, he's had a few in there so far.
Oh, there he is. Oh, see, you know what? Whose channel doesn't he have a wrench on? Is it mine or is it Scribe's? Because like every time I see him in my chat, he doesn't have a wrench. So I don't think I gave him one.
Kelvin says Cloak and Dagger looks interesting. I love Cloak and Dagger, the series. The relationship between those two is something that I hope they don't fuck up. I really do.
Oh, well, there's I already read an article where someone was complaining about the origin of Cloak and Dagger and how the black character had an insatiable hunger and addiction that only the white girl could calm down.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
No, they were complaining about. Now, I don't know what that dynamic looks like in the TV show. It doesn't seem like they're making Cloak a sort of life force vampire like he was in the comic book, which given that it's sort of like a kid show on ABC, I can kind of see why they might change that. So I don't know exactly how their dynamic works in this version of things. But the fact that somebody would be like, yeah, you know, the original Cloak and Dagger story was totes racist because it dealt with the drug war. And like, yeah, it was topical. Did you actually I mean, I have a copy of the first few issues of the comic, like the origin story and everything and the whole setup. It is dark shit, even for Marvel back in the 80s. It's really dark, noir, gritty, no holds barred, violent drug culture. Holy shit. And these guys come in and try to save people. It's good. I mean, it's got some rough edges, but it's really good. And somebody's saying, oh, it's so racist. Like, fuck you.
And frankly, that's how, whether you want to admit this or not, that's actually how it goes. You have black and white, dark and light, and that's what the two do. The white pull she's not just white, she is a light that pulls him back from darkness. Yeah, they're gonna fuck this all up. Nothing for you says, do you think offering some kind of political asylum to those in the UK who value free speech over here in the US is doable? No.
No, it's not quite that. It's not to the point where they would be able to make that claim and anybody would take them seriously over here. I mean, somebody could say, like, you know, I'm suffering from political oppression of my free speech and everything, and I would be interested to see someone try to make that claim, given what just happened to Dankula or others.
Using him as the litmus test, no politician is going to go out on the line and go, yeah, we're bringing him over here to keep him from going to jail for teaching his dog to give a Nazi salute.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Real quick, Shieldarath,
oh no.
He put up a joke for me. It says, how many police does it take to change a light bulb? And it says 2, 1 to change it and the other to beat the room for being black.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Michael asked, what do you honestly think Dankula's sentence will be? I think he's going to get at least 6 months in prison.
I'm with Monkey, not in support of, but just in the likelihood of, because if you read, or you know, if you read the judge's rhetoric, he is a true believer of the idea that Dankula was doing something awful, like hate crime, etc. And if he doesn't back that up with some jail time, then everything he said is empty. Now, I hope he doesn't, of course. I hope he gives him like probation or some other kind of non-jail restriction or something. Not that he should get anything at all, but that's beside the point now. But yeah, I would be amazed if he doesn't get at least a few months of jail time.
I think with because let's be honest, he's making an example of Dankula, and you can't make an example of him without a punishment.
Exactly.
So I hope that he just gets a slap on the wrist. He just gets probation. That's what I wished he wouldn't have got convicted of this stupid shit.
Yeah.
But since he is, I hope it's a slap on the wrist. I would even be okay if they gave him house arrest for 6 months, but he's probably going to prison.
Yeah.
Thank you, ex Bubba Hotep. I really hope Dankula gets time served.
No.
That would be great too, but
yeah, doubtful.
It's just not going to happen. And again, this is these fucking kind of laws, man. And if you look at the laws he actually violated, they had nothing to do with hate speech. It was trying to keep different football factions from beating the fuck out of each other. And it was completely misused. And as I said, we're starting to see these laws creep in here. And if you don't think they're going to get misused here, you're out of your fucking mind. Would they be able to kick him off YouTube or the internet? I'm not sure how their laws work. We've done that here to people. Usually for hacking. I don't know if we've never done it here to somebody who's been grossly offensive. Jesus Christ, if they did that, I wouldn't be allowed to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter what he gets? It's the precedent. It does matter because the precedent is not just the conviction, it's also the punishment for it. I mean, if all he gets is a slap on the wrist, it would be really hard to tell the next person you have to go to prison for a similar incident. But if he goes to jail for 6 months, then
yeah, because
the precedent.
What he's actually going to get is going to determine you know, what people can look forward to if, you know, convicted for the same thing.
Drunken Uncle says the UK has banned people from posting on social media before. So there you go. Yeah, it could happen.
It's like getting grounded by the government. It's like, no more social media for you, young man. So you learn to play nice.
Black Romeo says V had him on a stream after he got home from court. V suggested to him that he should go to the Hungarian embassy seeking political asylum. Think that's viable? I don't know enough about Hungary to answer that. Frankly, I think he's going to prison. I don't think there's much that can be done about it. Yeah. I hope so. I mean, I want him to have an out. I want them to put him and his wife on a plane and sneak him to the U.S. Sure. Do that shit movie style. Bring him over here. Do that Eraser shit. Remember that fucking movie?
Oh, Eraser, yeah.
Eraser.
James Caan versus Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, that's great. Rail gun.
Isn't that what prison is? 2 cents grounding? Technically, yeah.
I mean, I guess. Although my mother still fed me real food when I was grounded still. So
the one thing I will say is if you got anally raped while you were grounded, you should probably call prosecutors.
Yeah.
Too dark. I want to talk about my doctor for a minute, guys. While we have a lull in questions, I went to see my doctor today, and I have this issue with doctors.
Do you really?
I do. I've seen this woman now 6 or 7 times, and every time I've seen her, my story has been exactly the same. Where my pain is, that the pain is constant, and every time it's like she's hearing it for the first time.
You told us that. Wait, did you say that before the stream?
That was before the stream.
Was it? Okay, yes. I just want to make sure you weren't repeating yourself. Sorry.
I'm not repeating myself, and even if I was, these people love my melodious voice. What's
all right?
Anyhow.
Sorry, I apologize.
This is one of the reasons I don't trust doctors. I generally don't trust them. When I went to my doctor with this pain, and his initial response was, "That sounds like nerve pain. We need to get you into an MRI." I was like, "You're full of shit," but he was absolutely right, spot on. That doctor has lost his license. Meanwhile, all of these specialists I've gone to are just fucking insane. My surgeon, same thing happened. I would give him the exact same story, and every time it was like he was hearing it for the first time. I hate doctors. I just want to throw that out there. Did anyone see Dr. Random McCann's video on the Dankula verdict? I have not.
I have not, no.
Didn't one of the princes wear a Nazi uniform once? Yeah, Prince Harry did it at a Halloween or at a costume party, and he got all kinds of shit for it. He had to apologize.
I apologize.
Oh boy. I think every person who makes a claim about somebody doing something in their past that they should be held to account to, that same person's past should be dug through.
Oh, Scott McGinnis wants to know, what's my favorite Chuck Norris movie? Well, it obviously has to be Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis.
There you go.
And no, I'm kidding. I don't know, like Invasion USA maybe, or I had a poster for Hitman on my wall for many years for some reason, just because it was like I was a kid and I thought it looked kind of cool, except it's Chuck Norris with a mullet. So I don't know how.
Doesn't he always have a mullet?
No, he in this particular poster, it's super mullet, like super mullet. So anyway,
yes, Drunken Uncle Jeff Holiday went on Dr. Phil.
Yes.
I can't wait to see the episode.
Yeah,
let's see.
That'd be interesting.
Peter says maybe she's doing that to see if your story stays the same. That would be one thing. But she said to me today that we needed to increase my medicine. This is a medicine I've been on for like 6 months. And she's just now increasing the medicine because she told me I shouldn't be in constant pain. Like, you think?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason I'm coming to see you, you stupid bitch. I'm not here because she got her hair cut. I was nice enough to comment on that. But I'm not there to see her smiling face. I'm there because I fucking hurt, dumbass.
She's waiting for you to make that invitation. She's like, you've been coming here all this time. When are you gonna fuck?
No, she wants to be on your show. She wants to be a guest.
We're gonna put that on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Have Lady Monkey tape me banging the doctor.
Yeah. Cripple Adventures, Doctor Time.
The Jack Cochran says, to compete with Jeff Holiday, will Worski go on Jerry Springer, not Tonka, the real one?
That would be awesome.
What is really funny about all this is that JF has repeatedly said he wants to go on Dr. Phil. And Jeff got there first. That's just funny.
Well, I think people should just be happy that YouTubers are like slowly like becoming a part, like more and more a part of the mainstream, as far as like that huge stream. Did you guys hear about the stream on Twitch that happened recently that had like Drake on it? And yeah, like all this stuff is starting to happen, and like the really negative shit that YouTubers are typically known for is kind of starting to get pushed to the side, and we're starting to hear more positive stories of like YouTubers just kind of stepping out of just being YouTubers and, you know, getting into some other shit. And I think that's kind of cool. Just like that fact alone, I don't even really care what he's there for. I just think
nice. Yeah, I agree with you. If you look at like the one that I've been watching is Roaming Millennial, watching her break out. That has been awesome to see. And she was on Fox and Friends the other morning.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. So, I mean, you have a lot of these YouTubers, and to her credit, she's not somebody who does any, I don't want to say she doesn't do any controversial stuff, but she's not a shit talker. She, you know, presents her arguments, and she got the notice of Ben Shapiro, and from there, like I said, yeah, she was on Fox and Friends. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
You think Brian Kilmeade sexually harassed her?
I would.
Oh my god. Uh-oh.
Hey, roaming's cute as shit. I don't care. I don't know if I've told her that to her face yet or not. I should.
You see what X-Bub said?
Sorry, Monkey. I sent too many super chats tonight, so my bank thinks my card is stolen. Sorry about that. The rest of you in chat could pick up the slack. Did you guys know that Roaming Millennial is not only smart but nice to look at? Yeah, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Cochran says none of that matters until roaming is in my lap. Hey, SDA got to do that.
Yeah, Monkey is a lecher, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah, he's a creepy old man.
Shiograph says, if you really love a woman, you shouldn't be ashamed to show her to your wife. For the record, my wife knows I look at other women and that I find other women attractive, just like I know this is a true story. We were going into Walmart tonight, and somebody knocks on a car window as I'm passing it, and I stop to see what it is, and the rest of them go in, and it was somebody I used to work with. And when I got into the store, she goes, was that Mike? And I'm like, yeah, it was. And she looks at my daughter and goes, I knew it was going to be him. I should have stopped. That man is so pretty. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we are secure enough in our relationship to understand that neither of us is dead, but neither of us puts our crotch out there for anyone else. So that's the secret, guys. Cryptic, thank you. Confucius say virginity is like bubble wrap. One prick and it's gone.
Yeah, me and Squishy are like that too. She already know that I look at other women and shit, but she don't care because most of the time she be looking too. So I'm just
my brother married a woman who actually told him watching porn is just like cheating.
Oh, God.
I said, okay, I want you to try this. One day when she comes home, be watching porn, and the next day be banging her friend. See if she sees a difference.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, don't touch. You can look at whatever you want to. Just don't touch.
Oh, yeah. I am. Especially, like I told you, you heard Squishy jump down your throat about Asian bitches.
Asian women, yep.
And she know how I feel about it.
Harvo says Krypton is premiering tonight. Thoughts on it likely being good or not? I'm not a huge Superman fan. DC does okay with their TV shows, so they'll probably do okay with it.
Yeah, it takes place 200 years before the planet blows up, so it has nothing to do with that. Although I've heard things about how there's some kind of time travel element, so maybe Superman appears. I don't know. It's supposed to be like Game of Thrones, but for Krypton. I'll wait and see. I don't have Sci-Fi Channel access, so I'm not gonna see any episodes until it's like bingeable or something. So
yeah, I know Angry Joe's gonna be pumped about it.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's gonna lose his shit.
Satsu, what's your favorite Star Trek movie?
Dude, I've never watched a Star Trek movie.
There you go. He said.
Oh wait, that's not correct. I watched one of the new ones. The one before the most recent one, I think.
Oh, the one that was basically Wrath of Khan, which is Scott McKinnis's favorite. My favorite is The Voyage Home. I just think that one had the best humor and stuff in it. Any chance we'll have a ladies' night stream with Lady Monkey and Squishy? I would love to have them on some night, the two of them together, because Lady Monkey is a huge fan of Squishy.
Oh yeah, that'll be interesting. I'll definitely ask her.
Star Trek Beyond, Hammer says. Hey Hammer, nice to see you, bud. Let's see what else we got here. Guys, you got 10 minutes to ask us questions, to say things to embarrass us. Request his song. Doesn't mean we're gonna sing it, but Satsu, do you sing at home?
Well, I try not to, but like when I have headphones on and I'm like working at my station, like editing videos or whatever, I sing whatever I'm listening to, and Squishy be fucking recording me. Yeah, so apparently there's footage of me singing out there that I surely hope never gets out. Speaking of that, you want to join me for a stream tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know if Lady Monkey could do it, but she can come on whenever she wants. I love Squish. Squish is funny as shit.
No, I was saying like every now and then I can have Squishy
bring
on my channel, like when it's my night.
Why are there no DS9 or Voyager movies? DS9 would be hard to make a movie about, I think, and Voyager sucked.
Yeah. DS9 would be far too stationary for a movie. You'd have to have like it all be interpersonal stuff with. I mean, he couldn't be on not the Defender. Defiant. You couldn't be on the Defiant the whole time because then it's not DS9. It has to be on the station. And then Voyager. They already made it home. The Gilligan's Island plot line is ended, so there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And we already know that they made it, and their fate because they jumped 20 years in the future or something and showed like Admiral Janeway and all that bullshit. So yeah, it's done.
Shiogaran says Voyager was my favorite. Fight me, monkey. You're obviously retarded. I don't fight retarded people. Drunken Uncle says Voyager was the best. Are you fucking out of your minds? You're fucking with me, guys. Come
on. Everybody's jumping on this train.
No, TNG is by far the best. The only thing I will entertain beyond that is DS9. Because otherwise, you're out of your fucking minds. Scribe Light, what was worse, Enterprise or Discovery?
Well, truth be told, I haven't watched Discovery, so I don't know. What I hear from people is that it grows on you, I guess, but it's not Star Trek in a way. Like if it was just like sci-fi space show, it might be a better sell than as a Star Trek show. I didn't really like Enterprise that much, except for those two Mirror Universe episodes, which were amazing. They were epic. I loved it. If only the entire series had been like that. The last season of Enterprise started to pick up some steam when they actually had something to do and like a mission. But other than that, Enterprise was pretty weak.
Opinion of BBC Sherlock that takes way too much time off between seasons. Haven't seen it.
The first season was excellent. The second season, let's just put it this way: when Sherlock had to resort to killing his enemy, I didn't care anymore. I won't give away all the details, but basically Sherlock gives up on trying to outsmart his opponent and ends up killing him. And so I'm like, that's not what Sherlock would do. Like even when he was fighting Moriarty at Reisenbach Falls, they fought as equals and fell together. It wasn't that he, defeated the guy and walked away. So it wasn't Sherlock at that point. So I didn't care what happened after that.
Doing anything with Sherlock is hard because the originals were written so well and so thought out. Mm-hmm. And I don't think most writers are up to the task.
Or at least not to keep it going for a long time. I mean, because most of the Sherlock stories are sort of, they're like Law and Order episodes. There's a beginning, a middle, and end. They're very self-contained. There's not a lot of overarching stuff between stories, except mentionings of things. So try to make it into like a continuous series of episodic stuff. It's a tough horse to keep running.
Thank you, Diesel Dave. The only good thing about Voyager was 7 of 9. I know she was cute, but
no, she, as far
Deanna
as the story
Troi
goes, yeah,
was better for me. I'm sorry.
She was the Data analog while being in a tight cat suit. There were some good storylines ish here and there with her, but aside from eye candy, she didn't add anything to the show really overall.
Once they let Marina take her hair down, the girl has curves where women should have curves, whereas 7 of 9 is kind of straight. Just throwing that out there.
Also, there's a weird story about the actress Jerry Ryan. She used to be married to I believe a politician.
Yes.
He used to take her to sex parties and shit before she divorced him.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of like, oh God. So Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9, was in some kind of like orgy situation from time to time before she gave up on it. Holy shit.
One Ton Hammer says Troy over 7 of 9. Oh my God, you're crazy, monkey. I like women with curves, man.
Yeah.
If you like them built like 12-year-old boys, that's your business.
You guys want to hear some Dusty Smith fuckery?
Oh God, what's he up to?
Well, he said he put up a picture of Paul, Sargon, and Dankula, and said, "You guys remember when leaders of the skeptic community would have destroyed Prison Planet instead of becoming best buddies with them? This is by far the most retarded timeline." And it's just a picture of all 3 of them together. And I asked him, have you combed through the history of every human being you've ever encountered or called an acquaintance so that you can call them out on everything they've done? If not, you might want to get to it because you don't want to look like a hypocrite. And he said, you don't have to comb through anything that Paul PJW is a con man and one of the leading purveyors of disinformation and the history of the internet. And I said, but you didn't answer my question.
Yeah. That's how she became 7 of 9. There were 9 dudes, and she could only handle 7 at a time. Jack motherfucking Cochran. What is faster, the Millennium Falcon or Kirk's Enterprise? Kirk's Enterprise.
Well, you mean like at warp speed or just in general?
I'm assuming at warp.
At warp, well, Millennium Falcon's got light speed. And light speed is faster than warp.
Warp is light speed.
No, it's different.
We're gonna have a nerd fight here on stream.
All right. And as far as like fast and maneuverable, Millennium Falcon beats Enterprise any day of the week. The Enterprise
maneuverable, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. He said, "I'm not friendly with anyone who I'm fully aware is a disinformation spreading con man. No." I'm like, well, you better check. Remember, ignorance isn't an excuse.
He's not friends with anyone because he's a dick. Falcon has hyperdrive. Yeah, we have warp drive. Thank you. Warp is faster than light speed. Asher says.
Whatever.
Drunken Uncle points out there are varying degrees of warp speed, whereas there's only one light speed. That is true as well. You know what I hated? I hated in TNG where they brought in environmentalism. They brought in global warming to TNG.
Oh yeah.
Because if you use warp 10, it destroys the universe. Like, oh, fuck off.
Speaking of that, did you guys see that theory on how Superman destroyed the Earth after he was resurrected in the Justice League movie or whatever?
No.
Yeah, they said because of that race with the Flash and the fact that the Flash, has something that, I guess he can alter the environment around him to not destroy it when he speeds or whatever. Yeah. They said Superman doesn't have that. So if they are racing on pretty much the same speed in any serious capacity, then Superman has single-handedly destroyed the Earth.
No, Superman just turns back time.
Yeah, he just flies around the planet, makes it go backwards.
Yeah, that's how time travel works.
Yes, ludicrous speed, we can agree, is the fastest.
That's true. It went plaid.
Let's see. Guys, it's pretty much the top of the hour. By the time I'm done talking, it will be. Thank you guys so much for the super chats tonight. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. The questions, the awesome jokes that even I won't read. You guys are amazing. Thanks for hanging out with us every night. Scribbles, Satsu, a pleasure as always. Oh shit. Real quick. For those of you interested, we are changing the movie we're doing on Sunday. We were going to do Sneakers, but we've both got access to the Negotiator now. So that will be on my channel.
Yeah. It's
Sunday.
on Netflix. So if you have,
Yes.
if you have access to Netflix, you can watch The Negotiator and listen along with us.
Yeah, and I'm
we'll
going to
watch
stream
it.
Monster Hunter after this. So if you guys want to watch, 2 cents plus.
There you go. 2 cents plus after this, guys. And on that note, your lives make us sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Oh,
Fuck
you have a
off.
super-
Oh, thank you, Ragnak. All hail the alarm. Blessed are they heard it sing.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
Bye,
place to
folks.
stop. Bye, guys.